It's hard to see him figuring out that, like, if he
It's not One Piece on the show. Let's go back to Berserk Galactic.
fucking dare you bring it up and not let me analyze it.
No, I'm just kidding.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to You Fucking Bastard. Irbal Sinergy's the shop. I'm your host, Sinji. With me, as always, my co-host, Arbe. How you gonna start me off on the sad horns, bro?
Oh, I can hear you over this ruckus applause in the house. Ow. Thank you, everybody. So glad you're choosing to listen to us in your daily lives. Thank you.
You're all
Calm it down. Yep, the kind swans. But yeah. Yeah, what's shaking? Bacon?
Oh, not too much, King. Not too much.
Over there flaking.
You got a flavor this week?
Yeah, liked a lot of stuff that went on. I like the Kafka's entrance. You know how he proceeds to say, "Oh, combat power unleashed," and then that whole thing happened. I was like, "Dang, my boy got smoked." Hello,
Hello.
you there?
I'm here.
Is it me you're looking for?
Sometimes.
Dang, well, that's all right. I ain't mad at you.
My
But yeah.
my flavor this week is coming straight out of the episode of Life. Straight out of the show of Life, episode 6, 524. And let me tell you, the title of the episode was Audacity. So, without going too much into like how it's supposed to be written, do you remember that thing I told you on like at the end of chapter 1 for Okami? They were like, "Oh, he went out on a journey when he was 16 and came back to a loving family."
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I wrote a comment on that, and when I sent my revisions, and when I got the file back, I was scrolling down, and there were several things. Right, several things, 4 specifically that I remember, where these motherfuckers had the audacity. First of all, let's start with the elephant in the room. The ending part that I question. I said, hey, changing this, blah blah blah, is fine. Like making revisions and changes is fine and all, but this one's too grand. Like it's a complete 180 from the original story I was trying to depictate. Blah blah blah. Just please refrain from doing that. Some fucking guy replied, "These are changes you approve." I've never read the fucking thing. How did I approve these changes? Right? So the more hilarious part, and like it's gonna get into, I'm gonna rant a little bit, like, but the more hilarious part is there were 2 sections up higher that's like, hey, like there were things I changed because they were straying from my story, and like some bastard commented, this contradicts what the writer is trying to tell towards the end. It's like, motherfucker, I didn't write that shit at the end. This is the thing I wrote. You're saying I'm contradicting something that I wrote, but I'm contradicting something you guys wrote because I'm writing it the way it's supposed to be written, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the third comment, which was hilarious to me, and like the audacity was, they took something and they wrote, and this is how like I knew, like I put the puzzle pieces together, like the person sending me the first revisions is not the person looking over the second one. So they have no idea. They're working over themselves and they don't know it. This motherfucker took a line that I did not write and put a comment next to it and said, unclear. We should write this like this. I was like, I agree, it's unclear. I didn't fucking write it.
Yeah, I feel your dog. Dang, that's crazy.
I'm sure I had other
Mm-mm-mm.
flavors, but that was just the only thing on my mind.
And that wasn't even from any animes this week.
Yeah, that was just from life.
Dang. Yeah. Um. Well, I guess it's still a choice of what you want to talk about first.
I'm on Berserk Gluttony, so let's just go with that. So,
Mm.
episodes.
Feito perfeito.
Yes. Episode 7, The Twilight Swordsman. So, we start off this episode with Fate and.
Mine.
Yes, fine. I knew her name up until the point I wanted to say her name. And then it was just
Did you
gone.
though?
I did. I did.
I'm not too sure.
But they're in the car and like mine is eating, and then like Fate makes a joke. It's like, "Are you sure you don't have the gluttony sin? Blah blah blah. Where does all the food go?" And like she got pissed and like made her axe heavy, and then they broke the cart. So
Yeah.
home
Crazy.
Homebay had to fix the cart, but he said it was gonna cost him something, so they had to stay in the nearby village where Fate ran into this holy knight who's also the village chief, and like the village chief notices that like Fate has identify is or appraisal
Let's identify.
identify, right? And then like he also realizes that like Fate's level 1 but has like stats in the millions, and it's just stats in the millions is wild.
Yeah.
What's what's 10% of a mil? That's like 100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like if he wants to use like that skill of greed, he's got to give up 100,000. That's crazy. But the village chief is like, "Hey, let's Fate wants to stay here." And he's like, "No problem. Let's have a sword fight first." And they go at it, and like he easily overpowers Fate and wins. And he's like, "Hey, I'll let you stay, but you have to let me train you for the time being." And like I can tell that you're not accustomed to your strength or your skills. Let me help you with that. So that's when Mine comes in, and he points them like where they could stay, get some food, and like that's when Fate really starts training with the old man. It was a really, it was surprisingly a short like training arc. So like I guess they're the more they're I guess they're just really trying to play at like how much of a genius Fate might be. The fact that like, he caught on so quickly, because like the village chief was like, you're too stiff. If you loosen up, you can generate more power." And
So
go ahead.
yeah, so I was thinking like the whole when he first started fighting, I was like, oh man, that's it. Cause I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna lose, but um I know it's way different fighting monsters than it is fighting human. So and the other thought I had was also you can equate his aptitude for learning stuff fast as greed for knowledge. So like it's essentially like a cheat code because like, oh, I want to get good quick. So he just like, oh, psh, I understand it, I got it. So he probably is. I wouldn't say he's much of a genius, but maybe like his greed stats and his ability that he picked up allows him to learn stuff or progress faster than average.
He's absorbing the knowledge.
Yeah, greedy knowledge. Like a fountain.
I see.
Yeah. So yeah, I
That could
mean
make
that could
sense.
explain it, or he could just be like Luffy. Just don't work hard and just get whatever he needs to accomplished.
Oh, kind of like a Naruto and Sasuke during the Great Ninja War.
Nah, Naruto trained hard, and he used shadow clones so he can double his experiences.
Well, first of all, I'll have you know that Luffy trained for 2 years, and three of his forms were the results of the training for 2 years, and it just came out like way like slowly. It conveniently came out when
I'm
he
not, I'm
needed
not,
it.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about when he just all of a sudden got gear two. Man, they did no shift before. He just got gear two. I'm like, oh, okay.
But Gear Two
We
still
on.
makes sense though.
I don't know, dog.
Like if first of all, like I don't um so like I guess in a way, like if you compare it to like how other people portray like you ever seen those shows where like people drank way too much coffee and then like they were moving really quickly?
Hmm.
I guess it's like that because like I can't. I was almost ready to like justify like him like the specifically Gear Two, like Gear Three might make more sense than Gear Two. Um, but like if I remember, then I do remember the coffee thing. And I was just like, well, Luffy. It's often said Luffy is like smart when it comes to fighting and like dumb and everything else. So like I can see where like he possibly kind of. It's hard to see him figuring out that like if he
That's not One Piece on the show. Let's go back to Berserk Galactic.
fucking dare you bring it up and not let me analyze it.
No, I'm just kidding. Go
But
ahead.
yeah, so like it's almost like the
I
coffee
wasn't really
effect.
kidding. That's enough.
No, I'm finishing this. It's almost like the coffee effect, right? Like he's pumping his own rubber heart to beat faster, and in turn, like give him the coffee effect and produce more speed. And like when you think about it, it doesn't make sense. But when you think about it in the animated world, where like, oh, haha, this character drank way too much coffee, now he's fast as fuck. That's hilarious. Then it's like, all right, well, I guess there was already groundwork laid out for that, and like, kind of like Oda's been taking inspiration from other cartoon, like Gear Five. I don't know if we talked about it. Gear Five was inspired by Tom and Jerry.
Definitely ain't talk about it because I don't care.
That's fine, but I guarantee you, out of our 10 listeners, maybe two of them do care.
Maybe, maybe not. Who knows?
Um,
Maybe they just care because they think you can. Like, oh, I got to support him in his crazy dream of Luffy.
no, like I
Uh
can see what you mean about Gear Two. I'm just like they provided enough explanation to where like, all right, well, I guess. Like
He's like, oh, I just seen you pumping your legs, so I decided to pump my legs too. Yuck.
now, I don't get how Gear Three makes him stronger because in my head it's just a bunch of air in his fist. So I don't really foresee it hurting more because the bones ain't getting bigger, are they?
I mean, if it bones or rubber, rubber air, inflation.
But how does it stay like hard? Like, can it be rubber
He
and hard at the
uses
same time?
hockey. He used hockey.
He
He
didn't
didn't
have
even know
hockey
he was
back then,
using hockey.
Irby.
He didn't even know, dog. He just used it. Like
It was invisible.
hockey, just just visible after he learned that hockey existed. So he hockeyed on the inside.
Yeah, okay. Now we're like flipping roles here.
Might be.
All right, let's go back to the show.
Yes.
So, they're training and Fate's eye turns red and he notices and like Fate just makes up an excuse like what did he say? It's just like um he said that like something about when he's too anxious, his eye changes color. He didn't say the complete truth, and that's when he noticed like the monster castle, and they go inside the house and mine ate everything. But Fate decided like to play a prank on her, and like drew a cat face on her, and she actually looked kind of cute with the cat face.
And
On
then
her.
to Naruto. I was like, oh, look at Naruto.
Yeah, I mean, Naruto, cat face, tomato. But she kind of looked cute being mad. So, like, she came out and they're training again, and the village chief told him to parry my sword with this stick. And Fate didn't think he could do it, but he did it right away. So their training was done, and Mine came out and got her revenge on Fate. All she did was draw like a badly drawn circle around his lips. They're eating dinner and they're talking, and the village chief's looking at the castle, and he's like telling Fate about the story about his family and how a lich appeared, and while he was gone and took over everything, he lost everything, and Fate decides he's gonna go do it, and the old man decided like, "Hey, you're going. I'll join you." Um, and then mine
Yeah,
said she'll watch the.
yeah. My boy got hungry because he's like, "Oh yeah, there's a a lich living up there." And he was like, "Oh, glutton." He's like, "Gotta eat." And also, yeah, he said mine was a fine warrior just from the look of her. I was like, okay, my man's really knows his weaponry.
Yes, she
So
is.
yeah,
So they show up to the castle, and there's a bunch of undead people, obviously, and then like someone created the illusion of this family. Like I think for a moment they got him, or like not like they got him, but like just seeing them, kind of like it was sad because like he knew that he had to like it wasn't real and he had to deal with it.
hmm. Oh,
So
let me interject again.
go ahead.
I also think it's worth noting that I think that is this, did we already mention this or not? That when Fate gets hungry, like his speed and power increase.
I didn't exactly mention it, but like yeah, it does. But like, was that from the eye, or was that just from him improving? That's a little hard to interpret.
Yeah, I feel like it's from his eye because like it's like, oh, give me food faster. I'm so hungry. I'm gonna die. I need to eat.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little easy to misinterpret because like your
Yeah,
greed is trying to show him how to control the eye. Well, I guess controlling the power it gives you could be considered controlling it as well.
yeah,
I guess that is. I see. Like I didn't mention it because like I thought it was just a result from him picking up on the training fast, but like now I see how like it could have been from the eye.
yeah. Because I saw it because as soon as he went hungry, the man started going ham. I was like, oh, my man's he's ready.
He activated his Sharingan.
Yeah, I was like, oh, shutting gun. Not the Mongekyo though, just regular.
Do you think he'll ever get to the point where like both eyes are red, like mine?
I said, weren't they both red before?
Not that I've noticed.
Well,
He's
I
got
don't know.
a he's got a Tokyo Ghoul thing going on right now.
Yeah, I felt like at one point, his eye was like red, both of them. I don't know. I could just be making stuff up.
I also like
But,
how like they mentioned that like when his eye turns red, it means he's approaching his limit, and like that one. There's a couple times like he would go like when he was working for Roxy. Is it Roxy? I haven't seen her in so long. Is it Roxy?
yes.
Um, he went a couple days with an eye patch over his eye because it was red. I was like, bro, like approaching his limit, is that the right word?
His check eating light what came on.
Yeah, he just ignored it for a few days, like everyone.
I don't know mine. I don't let my car get past half a tank.
That's crazy. Well, now that I have an hour commute, I don't let my car. I fill up every 2 days.
Yeah, I make sure because you never know when you'll hit traffic or something, and have a tank will get you most places where you need to go.
Dude, I got quick sidetrack. I remember one time like I meant to like get gas after work, and I got on the Parkway, and I was already like low when I got to work. I was like, oh shite, I gotta get off the Parkway. I don't know where I'm going, but like I need a gas station now.
Yeah, that's how it be, dog.
Life lesson, guys. Just
Yeah,
keep your tank full.
yeah, living life living you right.
Life was living me at that moment.
It sure was.
So
Don't ever
continuing
live it again.
continuing, the village chief told Fate to go handle the lich and he'll take care of his family. So Fate did
Aaron Barbatos.
what?
Aaron Barbatos is his name.
Aaron, but we're probably not going to see him after this episode.
We might.
We might. All right, that's fair enough. But
Aaron Barbatos.
um, so Fate goes and he appears in his green room, but like he finds the lich like right away, and he's putting all the stuff the Aaron taught him to good use, and he actually disposes of the lich fairly quickly. Aaron shows up to help him, and he like uses a holy. He decides like the only way they can get through this is by using a holy skill, and Fate wanted to do it, but like he couldn't with greed, so he grabbed a different sword and used it. Which was kind of weird. Like how did? Oh, I think he got it from that holy knight, didn't he, Herbie?
So what? Yeah, he the Holy Knight stabbed him with the and he was holding a knife because that was a memento.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Fate did the Grand Cross with Aaron. They took out the lich, and they Aaron laid his family to rest and saw their spirits, which was kind of weird, but like, whatever. It's good he got to say goodbye.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that souls killed by gluttony don't get to pass on either. So that's why he had to use the Holy Knight sword. And I thought it was a nice touch too, because he picked it up and Greeb was like, "Don't make a habit out of this." And I was like, "Oh, someone's jealous."
Yeah, like he knew, like, bro, he can't use you because he'll absorb the souls. But Aaron was saying goodbye to his family, and then like I guess the soul of the lich was trying to attack Aaron, but like he shot it with Greed's arrow and absorbed it, and like his gluttony skill went into like it seemed like it went into overdrive a little bit, which is like kind of weird because like lately it just seems like he's been killing things that are too like strong for his gluttony skill, which is I guess it's fine, but like you're you're deliberately forcing yourself to need something more.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I feel like because at some point, I think greed says consumes you. So,
But
like, you just gotta feed up. Maybe no, he can't eat something that will just satisfy him for a while. It's not possible.
yeah, no, it's too gluttony wouldn't let it.
Yeah,
It just keeps wanting more. Yeah. Um, it'd be nice if he can like if he had like a storage for souls or whatever. I don't know.
like a food bank.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought,
emergency
yeah,
rations.
yeah, something like that. Because there's this one story that I listened to, and it's like, oh, the guy has like a blood bank, so when he gets hurt, it just starts automatically healing him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Just heal up. So it just kicks it to overdrive for him.
Yeah, that makes sense. So they leave the castle and like there's a bunch of skeletons and they have a friendly little race on like I guess who can defeat the most. Um, Mine showed up and she was upset, but Aaron calmed him down by giving her money, and like we learned that she's so obsessed with money because she wants to rebuild her village, and like she says money doesn't lie. You learn that if you live long enough, which implies that she's been alive for quite a while.
Oh,
And then Aaron goes like, I've been thinking I saw you somewhere. 50 years ago, monsters appeared in this town, and I caught a glimpse of you. So, and he says, like, you look exactly the same. And even then, you were a picture of a great warrior. So, and then she goes, with a millennium of training, you can catch up to me, Aaron. And that's when Fate, like, questions, like, a millennium. So, like, it begs the question, like, how old is mine? But that was,
He's at least over 50.
yes, at the very least, she's over 50.
Yeah, and then yeah, I did. She was like, "Yeah, I'm a phantom that's not allowed to die." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." So
But yeah. And then in the end, like Aaron made a comment on like Fate's eyes going back to normal, and he kind of fessed up like he has a condition where if he doesn't slay monsters regularly, his his eyes turn red. And Aaron's like, you got a big burden to carry.
yeah, he said some other word I can't remember at the moment. But then he's like, "Oh yeah, come back when you finish your business. I got something to tell you." I'm like, "Why you just say tell him now?"
Mm-hmm. And
Like
then like
really?
we went over to the douchebag holy knights who found out that Hado died and that it was Corpse, and Corpse is not a lich; he's an actual guy.
Yeah,
So setting that fight up, and they're researching immortality still.
yeah. They
End
need to
scene.
stop. And the scene from Medellin Cartel. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. A good episode. I think the night more so helped Fate because he's like, "Oh, you kind of look like my son that I let die. And I'm so sad that I chose duty over my family and I let them die.
I'll never do it again. You darn right, because they won't be alive anymore.
I'll never have a family again."
Guilty feet have got no rhythm.
Yeah. So, so yeah. Mm. Okay, moving on
Up,
to
east
the
side.
wrong way to use healing magic. Season 1, episode 2, the training from hell begins. So yeah, this is a I do like the take on this, and it's interesting. Um, the way it, because I don't want to say call it traditional isekai because they didn't die, but it's like yeah, different way to look at things. All about perspective. So he wakes up on training day, and essentially his friends come by. It's like, "Oh, we heard you were kidnapped. This, that, and the other. We were so worried about you. We didn't know, but why y'all wait a whole day to go look for the boy? Why y'all didn't get a party together that night? Why y'all do that?" So, so yeah, so he chatted, and then he talks with Rose, and she's like, "I'm gonna give you a journal so that you can track your progress and stuff." And so then she gives him like a little lesson, like a intro into mana training and all the basic things that he needs to know about the kingdom and everything. So yeah, he said, "Yeah, this is the Lingam Kingdom, and this is where all the demons are." And it's like, "Oh, we're right next to the Demon Kingdom." He's like, "Yeah, that's where we get attacked first, you silly goose." And so he's like, "Yeah." She's Rose like, "Yeah, read this manuscript here so you can learn some stuff." He's like, "Wait, I can't read. I don't know how to read." And then she's like, "Oh, heroes from another world always get a translation power." So he opens up. He's like, "Oh, I can read it." So, so I was like, "Oh yeah." So training montage. Day 2, a bunch of running. Day 3, he runs so much he cramps. She punches him in the leg. And he's like, "Oh my God, it's gonna hurt even more now." And he's like, "Oh wait, no, I'm fine." Which I was like, "Oh yeah." Uh, the gentle art of hitting folks always works. So I thought that's the wrong way how to heal, but it worked. So can't say too much about it. So then day 6, he runs so much that he automatically starts healing himself. And day 7 is when she starts introducing some physical punishment to him, like he hits him a couple times and swats at him and whatnot. And he like heals himself up. Yeah, day seven, she like beats him a little bit, kicks him real good. It's like, ow. Meanwhile, all of this, he documents in the journal, and each time he documents in the journal, it seems like she cranks it up. So I feel like this thought just came to me. I feel like she may be a hero, someone from another realm herself
Ooh.
previously, because like it's coincidentally like every time he says something about her, like mean spirited, it cranks up. Although it could just be her training, but I feel like she can read stuff, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Or the diary magically transcribes to something she can read. I don't know.
I thought it
Um,
was just because she was a healer.
so you think all healers can just read each other healers' thoughts?
No, I just think I think that this is the method she used to get to where she is. And because she's trained so many people, because like they know, they already knew. That's why they didn't want her to know. They already knew what she was gonna do with him. So I think she's done it with so many people that's like she kind of just knows what he's thinking.
Yeah, who knows? Probably. But yeah, so that happens, and by day 10, he gets to manifesting healing on demand, where he's like constantly healing himself and running and pushing his body to the limit. When it breaks, he just heals himself. I'm like, oh, my man has instantaneous healing. So she switches up on him on day 11, tells him to do some push-ups, and he has to do all these push-ups. And this is where they get into the nitty-gritty, and he's like, oh, you want to know the purpose of training? And she tells him it's to outrun the enemy and to rescue your mates. So I'm like, oh, I mean, you could have just did a whole bunch of running or sprints. Cause I feel like doing sprints means you got to get there faster or something. But he's continuously running for miles,
Mm-hmm.
running for days. I don't know. So it's just like, yeah, methods of madness. He sees it. So, which makes sense. You got to be fast with the medics getting out there.
But
And
it also
so,
seems like he's gonna be the stronger. Like he's like doing this to help, but he also seems like first mission they seem like they go on. It's gonna be like I feel like he's gonna do everything.
yeah, I feel like for whatever reason they said he wasn't a hero, but in my mind, if he wasn't a hero, then he shouldn't have the ability to translate stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, he's got to be like a hero. So I feel like he might be like the strategist medic or something,
Hmm.
like telling them what to do and then like provide backup and be like, oh, he might take a sword or attack for somebody and heal himself, and then they like this is what you need to do next or whatever. But yeah, I feel like he's gonna be some sort of hero. He might be along the lines of how Tsunade was out there fighting folks and we're healing or fighting and healing at the same time. That's
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be some iteration of that.
It could be. I can see it.
Yeah, because she might be fighting her teammates and then healing them at the same time. Which reminds me of I was watching this one anime and like one of the woman's technique was like over healing, and it just I think it caused people to age when she hit them because it just rejuvenated them so much that the skin cells and all the stuff ran out of recovery power. If that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah. So yeah, so he gets there and does his training. He gets hazed by the guys. They take his lunch. And he's a little mad. He's like, "Oh, it's my lunch, this, that, and the other," and he's yelling, and they're going back and forth, and they're bickering, and he's like, "Oh, okay." And then so, um, his classmates show up, and so uh, yeah, he's doing push up with stones, and yeah, the knights show up and they're like, oh, this method of madness, like I can't support you, and da 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 da. She's like, yeah, just this is just what it is. How I train them. He's like, I'm supposed to re-enlist you, but I can't. And she's like, yeah, well, my eye's terrible. I can't even use it. She's like, that's a lie. So yeah, he goes to eat with his friends. She told him to take five. Commander Sieglis, that's the commander I was talking to. He's like, I got more stuff to tell you. And then the princess is also there too. Her name escapes me. But anyhow, they get to talking. He's talking about, yeah, I want to make sure I'm there to support y'all because y'all gonna do some real intense fighting and this, that, and the other. And it's like, yeah, I just want to do what I can when I can to get you there and support you. And this was when Eno, uh, she's like, oh, let me look at your body, Shizune.
Dude is
Inu
ripped.
Kami. Yeah, she's like, yeah, look at your muscles. Like, let me just get a peek at your six pack. She's like, oh my god. And she turns to like the fan geek, the fan geek protagonist of the Isekai world. It's like, yeah, would you look at this, and that, and the other, and your muscles, your ribs. She's like, yeah, you made such a transformation in like 2 weeks. I was like, yeah, admiring all his body changes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like, I just want to support y'all, do the best I can, and say y'all for trouble. So
Oh,
then,
the princess name is Celia, by the way.
yeah,
Something like that. Celia, Celia.
mm, yeah. So then, homie that stole his lunch came back and was like, hey, I got your lunch. And so they get the fighting. And also, his classmates asked him, "Is this like a typical day for you?" And he's like, "No, this was actually a light day for some reason." So, yeah, she was on her best behavior. And so, after all that, he comes back and takes his bath, and he's like, "I wonder if I actually got what it takes to have the fortitude to be there and support them and do the best I can." And this is when we get Rose saying, "I'm gonna want to go take a trip to the outside world." And she goes, "Oh, we're going to the dark forest of Linger." And she's like, "I want you to hunt a grand grizzly and don't come back till you get one." And I'm like, "Dang, you ain't teach my man no type of attack healing or nothing." So I was like, but yeah, hopefully he comes back with it. If he doesn't, no, I know he's come back with it because he always comes back with it. He got to because he's the protagonist.
Yeah. I mean, this episode did make like the last episode didn't really make me want to see episode 2, but like this episode did make me want to see episode 3.
And why is that?
It was just a little more interesting to me, I guess.
A little more interesting. Um, and what made it so much more interesting?
It was a little more meat, whereas the first episode was kind of just set up.
Yeah, I feels that. But yeah, it was the Grand Grizzly. Yeah, let's see what to do. I did like how she just threw him off the mountain. It was like, yeah, you'll survive. And he was just healing himself as he's falling and all the stuff. And I was like, yeah, look at you go.
She wasn't wrong.
She wasn't. He made it. So that was that. And back to you in the home stretch of Lech.
Kaiju number 8, episode 6, Saga Mihara, neutralization operation at daybreak. So, we start off the episode learning that the last episode wasn't a drill. There really is a state emergency. And what the emergency is, it's a giant shroom kaiju that has reproductive organs, and everyone's like on their first emergency mission with, I feel like with not enough training. Like I feel like they probably shouldn't have sent these cadets, we'll call them, into a mission. Like maybe Shinomiya was ready, and on paper Kafka was far from ready, but it is what it is. So some takeaways. They identify the kaiju, identify what it does. It's got a reproductive organ that's like spreading around the city. So they evacuated the city, and like they split up and went to get to work. So Ichikawa and Kafka are having like a motivational talk between each other. Um, Kafka and Kikoru, they almost have like a brother sister like relationship going on, and like
I
every
mean, I don't know if you would call it one of those.
well, she seems to like get a little like blushy, like depending on what he says, but like I feel like he sees her as a little sister.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, but
But I wouldn't call him one of those yet because you just don't know.
yeah, but like I mean, if he's gonna end up anyone, it's gonna be with the captain, right? Mina.
I don't know if that's like that either. I feel like he just wanted to be there and support.
Well, we shall see as we get further into it. Um, a part that I liked was when everyone was ready to commence the operation, they all jumped off the building. And man, my man shouted, "Okay, my first mission's gonna be a big success!" And he just started climbing down floor by floor on the outskirts of the building.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
I was like, "Bruh, how long is it gonna take you to get down there?" Mina shows up in a helicopter, and like they begin like forcing the giant kaiju in a certain direction that aligns with like where they want it. All the cadets are facing the doju. Is it called doju? The smaller ones, and like Kafka, like
Yeah,
yeah, Kafka steps in front of one that's approaching. And he goes like unleashing combat power. He almost looks like he's either Lee releasing his inner gates or like he's going like Kaioken, but like it was a green energy. Um, so like he soups up and is releasing combat power, and the fucking little kaiju just like shoulder tackled him with a grin and sent him flying.
yeah. Combat power unleashed. Get smoked.
And Kiguru is just like, "You're too far in the front. Your combat power is 1%. Stay in the rear." And that's when the veterans are like, "Ah, we gotta babysit the kids, the new recruits. Just tell them to stay in the back. We'll handle it." So Kikuru took that personal, and like she just started taking out everything, and like then she had a whippy remark, and was like, so she said, it's coming up right now. Kafka said nice, and then she blushed, and she was like, "Oh, I'll try not to get in the way," or something like that. Like she made them feel
Yeah.
stupid for like doubting her ability, and like they ate their words immediately. They're like, "Oh, so that's the power of Kikudu." And I was like, "Yeah, man. Like you
And
got."
she's like, guess I'll just stay in the back and look for a weak point.
The thing was like, bro, like you've heard about her. You guys stay in the same vicinity. If kaiju's are emergencies like that and everyone gets deployed, that means you guys also have nothing to do while they're training. I feel like you would have seen what she was capable of at some point.
Yeah, and also I feel like I could have the question here. I was like, do the bullets like react to the suit power? Because
It has
she
to,
was,
cause she's
yeah,
melting them, bro.
yeah. I'm like, she's just like going through just pow pow. I was like, okay, but then also, um, you can change the bullets. So I wonder what kind of bullets she's using. If they're just the regular bullets, or there are some type of enhanced ones too.
She definitely has some special bullets, but like I think they do too, which is weird because I feel like the power of the gun is somewhat like has something to do with your combat ability power in the suit synchronization, because like when they were like training or whatever, and Kafka gave them weak points, and that's when they started doing damage. She was just blowing them. It didn't matter where she was shooting. She was just blowing them apart with her gun. It was just, bro, like I'm pretty sure they gave everyone the same weapon.
Yeah. 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 My boy. I don't think what the other one when there's talking. Um. Yeah. When Ichikawa was talking, he's like, yeah. I got to get strong so that Kafka doesn't have to transform, and how Kafka had that whole inner monologue about how he was feeling useless.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, "Yeah, there's something I could do." So that's when he went and started like dissecting the folks, the kaiju's. I was like, "Oh, okay, so he's doing something."
Mm-hmm. But like, it looks like they're all using the same green magazines. Like, so they're taking out the small kaiju, and like Ichikawa seems to be like the most improving one because like Vice Captain said something like very few people get within like the 40 to 50% combat range, or maybe he might have even said 30 to 40. The obvious one is gonna be Kikuru, but like the next one, I think that's most likely gonna be there is Ichikawa, and like Ichikawa took out like a huge one by himself, while like the pink haired dude who's like trying to be his rival just took out a couple small fries. And then like
Yeah,
Ichikawa revealed that he swapped out his burst rounds to freeze rounds, and that it's better to like take them down that way, and he thinks it's better for hunting kaiju. Um, so they continue. They're all using the green bullets. Kikuru's using the green bullets. Um, Kafka doesn't want to be useless because this is his first mission. That's when he does the whole. It's like I gotta find a weak point. That's how I can be useful. And all my years in the cleanup crew was for this moment. So like he was cutting one apart to find the core, and he found the core, which was in a tough to get spot. And he informed the vice captain, who was very very impressed, and told him good job. But then he also noticed that all the small ones also have reproductive organs, and Kafka felt like he was a little bit closer after the praise to like standing next to Mina. So they focus the attention back on the big one, and they're like leaning into to Mina. Mina pulls out a fucking railgun. She has like a VR headset on, and like she gets cleared to fire, and like she remembers her promise to Kafka. She's like, "This is what you have to match to be next to me. This is who I am right now. Watch and learn, bro. You made it here, but you ain't here yet." That's why I imagine she said.
yeah,
So they the funny thing about this first shot is this first shot took like a minute, like a solid minute to deploy at combat power 96%. And then she like let it rip, it blew the thing apart, but then like she kept shooting it. So like maybe the percentage wasn't as high, but like, and she shot the thing like four more times, which I feel like if she had like the ability to keep shooting it, she probably just should have. But like maybe it would have compromised like the city.
well,
Be-
she had to get permission to shoot though, for whatever reason.
I'm sorry,
She had to get permission to shoot.
right? Like she's the captain. Like why does she need? She was like give the order. Like what? Don't you give the order? And like while you're at it, why don't you finish wiping that thing out?
Yeah, because I felt like I feel like she it might have taken like a while to charge up to 96% to unleash, but like once it was there, it's like she was like steady at 96. If that makes sense.
That makes sense. So the vice captain approaches Kafka and he's like, standing by her side means matching that kind of strength. And like Kafka has a moment, but then a kaiju shows up behind vice captain, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't match that, but you know what? She can't match this." And like, without even moving, he just sliced up that kaiju in pieces because he's better at close combat. That's what his family was raised into. Um, Kafka called it a katana, but I don't really think that's a katana. It looked like a short, like a long dagger, a pair of long daggers.
Yeah.
But then he pulled it out, and it looked longer than what it was in his back pocket. So I don't know.
I think he probably can make it longer with his combat power.
Ooh.
Because he said it's a special weapon, given to like his family or whatever. So he probably can control the length, or put a little bit more combat power into it, makes it longer.
So after that, Hanju, they were called Hanju. After that, all the reproductive organs on the big guy, they released what they had in, and a massive swarm came out, and it was time for the real battle to begin. And like they were thinking the new recruits were tired and like they should take a break, but I'm like, nah, we got this. Let's freaking do this. And even though they were all nearing their limits, they just kept fighting, kept pushing because they had to. So they go, Ichikawa and pink hair dude go out and they see a monster sweeper, and it's like, what's a cleaner doing here? It's a little soon. We didn't even clear the area yet. It's like, hey, didn't you hear the alarm? Cleanup crew isn't needed right now. So like, it's the new guy, the cleanup guy, and he's on the cleanup station. He turns around, you see his face. Something's happening with his face, like kaiju related, and the episode ends.
Yeah. I was like, oh, Figgle Scram.
Oh, shucky ducky quack quack.
Yeah, I was like, phew. Yeah, I was waiting to see it, so I couldn't wait. So I was watching the next episode.
Bull a shite.
You don't know.
I got a pretty good idea.
I watched the next one. I was like, yeah, let me watch the next one.
Let me do that next thing.
Yeah, I was like, next episode, baby, here I come.
Did a Jujutsu come out this week?
It did not.
Gotcha. All right, so you got anything you want to talk about?
No, that's about it. Yeah. Yep, that's about it. That's all I got for this installment.
All right, well, why don't you close this out, Irby?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. And tune in to next week. And we'll catch you later. Peace.
Peace.